One of the things we wanted to put inside of our menu was caramelized onions in some way, shape, or form, and we thought the best application would be inside of the whole chicken. As we're using every part of the chicken, we wanted to consider how to utilize the schmaltz, or the fat that comes out of it, and in a traditional preparation they use onions. So we figured we'd make caramelized onion butter schmaltz naan. This is how we start the caramelized onions. Alright, I'm going to turn our heat on. This is different than regular caramelized onions because we're making it into a butter, so we're going to use plenty of butter. It helps to cut the butter up first so it'll melt evenly so you don't accidentally burn it too early. I'll let that go. We'll cut our onions. It's a great recipe to practice your knife skills with and your onion peeling skills. One of the things that I get asked a lot, how do you cut onions without crying? You just stop crying. Get over it, you know? It hurts a little bit, then it stops. It's not gonna kill you as far as I know. Now seriously, though, you can use a sharp knife. Sharp knives help a lot. Older onions also tend to give off more ducts, so pressure onions are good. I used to do this a lot. One of my first forays into knife skills was with onions. It's a great thing to utilize. You'll always find a recipe for it, a use for it. You can save every part of it. You can utilize this for stock if you'd like. I throw the peel away. We didn't really need it too much. If you're making a you can burn it and put it in whole. So you get some more depth out of it. Our last one. You see we're getting a little bit of browning here because I turned the heat up a bit. No problem. Let's stir it around. The butter cool off. And I like to just peel the top layer off altogether. If you have time, you can keep it on. If you want to go fast, then you might just have to take it off to remove as much of the unwanted product as you'd like for a restaurant. For home, I would use this. For here, I take it off. Because we love you that much. We're multitasking, so we're going to keep this going while we're going to continue to cut the onions. Now we can turn the heat up. It won't burn because we have the onions in there. I think that helps a lot in restaurants is to organize your things, so you'll be able to work in one direction to the other. Once you go side by side, you might be able to do two. When you get here, you can turn it over, stir, and go right into the next one. And if you're really skilled, you can try and do this. I don't do this very often. This knife is too short for this, but I'll try it. You see my cuts are not as good because I'm scared of chopping my fingers off when I'm doing two. But as long as I have my grip, I should be safe. Ah! Just kidding. Stir that around, and we're going to begin the process. You can turn the heat up now because we're going to get it to the caramelized stage. It's important to keep this pan flooded at the beginning. You should just have this big pile of onions. It's going to cook down to nothing. If you don't have enough onions, it'll just burn in one spot before cooking properly. Two of the more important things to have around when you're doing this, secret ingredients, if you will. Always have a cup of water for dehydration. Actually, to deglaze the pan when it starts to stick a little bit, because it's never going to cook completely evenly no matter how nice of a burner you have. And then we're going to have salt. Cool little trick you can use at home if you like to use sugar and salt. You can stack the two. You have sugar on the bottom, salt on the top. You can use both. plenty of salt. This will help draw the moisture and also season our base. If you like, you can cheat and use some sugar. I don't need to, I have plenty of butter. So it's really important to keep this at a medium-high-ish heat. You want this to cook down enough that it will roast eventually, but you want it to get done today. So I like to go medium-high. You could do medium-low and it'll just take way, way, way longer. But we have a video to film, so we're gonna go. All right. You see it's starting to brown, this is good. This is what's gonna caramelize onions actually. So I don't recommend using a non-stick pot, otherwise you'll have something stainless or cast iron. See, onions are starting to pot. We're not even close yet, but we're getting a good foundation. If you notice that it's starting to burn or get too aggressive, just turn the heat down or give it a splash of water. That's what this is here for, but we don't need to use that yet. When we see it sticking a little bit more and darkening, then I'll add the water. When I add the water, it'll be glazed and stick to the onions and it'll continue to caramelize. Halfway there. You can still hear the sound of it, it's still stewing, it's not quite frying yet. We're 85% of the way done probably. You can see the bubbles starting to rise, and you can hear the sound of the onion starting to sizzle instead of just sweat. So a lot of the moisture is cooking out, it's browning kind of in their own juice, and the milk solids, butter. You can of course do this with oil, olive oil if you have a dairy allergy or you don't want to use butter. If you want to make them vegan, very easy to do. But the browning will not be as nice. In the event of using vegetable oil, you might want to add a pinch of baking soda to help the onions break down and brown a little bit more. So here's our fond. Scraping it up as I go, putting it back into the onions. Very sweet. ASMR onions. Alright. Now you can see they're evenly caramelizing. Technically they're not caramelizing because caramelizing is pyrolysis involving sugar. This is more of a, say, an amino chain reaction or a Maillard reaction is what we're getting here. So sugar is caramelized, this is not so much. But it sounds a lot better than saying goldenized onion or amino browned onions or Maillarded onions. So we say caramelized onions. See the butter starting to foam up. On the bottom, you can see that I'm trying to get it, but it's not coming up. So how would I pick that up? Well, I have my friend this water here, which I haven't used at all. I could add a splash of this to help deglaze it, or we could use something that has some alcohol-soluble flavors. By the way, look down here, it's our time. It's taken about an hour, but I promise it's worth it. Double splash of that. We could take these further if we wanted to, but I think we're going to stop ours right here because we want to get the highest yield of this nice butter. We're actually looking for the butter for the flavor in this, and some of the onions as a puree to go into it, so we don't want to take it too far. It's going to go into a hearth and get baked at over 600 degrees. So now that we've gotten there, you can see we're back to our square one. These bits here we'll come back for in a second. Get over here. I don't recommend using plastic normally, but it's good for the video. So that's going to be our butter down there. This is going to be our onions.